Hi, my name is Reggie Williams, and I'm one of the executive directors of Black Film Space. Black Film Space is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting the careers of Black filmmakers. We host workshops, panels, and other community building events that are designed to support Black content creators. We also have a membership program that offers discounts to filmmaking resources, free events, a filmmaking database, grants, a mentorship program, and much more. In the next episode of the Black Film Space podcast, we interview Dion Lack. Dion is a co-founder of Lactose Entertainment, an innovative multimedia production company that also rents out creative spaces for folks in Los Angeles. We talk with Dion about how to open up a rental space, the challenges of maintaining a space, and much more. This episode was executive produced by Reggie Williams and Sino Gibson and was edited by Betsy Shifra. And now, on to our interview. All right, Dion, welcome to the Black Film Space podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for thinking of me.
Thanks for being here. I'm really excited to get into this conversation. I think what you're doing as an entrepreneur is really unique, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for other creatives and filmmakers to kind of get into that space. So I'm really looking forward to this. So what was the idea when you built your studio?
Sure. In a nutshell, it was one of those things of I was always reaching forward for help, not knowing that I was an influencer, I was a creative, that people were reaching for me. So it was only right that I would kind of pay it forward to the people that did help me, and then also kind of be an example of people that are looking for help. So I am a videographer and photographer, and I was hired to do a lot of filming and videos and pictures at other locations. And I was like, well, if I'm going to keep getting hired to take these pictures and do these videos, why not have a creative place that other creatives can use? But also at the same time, if I'm still getting hired to do this, I can just kind of shoot it at my location and get the money that they will be paying me anyway to pay the rent of the location I was at. So it was more of a smart decision on my part, because like a lot of the money that I was getting was going towards locations. So it's like, why not create my own location?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. From a logistical, financial sort of context, why do videography and photography? Because it seems like photography maybe isn't as lucrative.
I was kind of forced into it. I can definitely say I was a videographer first, and I was forced into that because I'm actually a person that's in front of the camera more than anything. Mm-hmm. And just a person that's impatient for success. I was forced to pick up a camera, and from there, people find out that you do and have a camera, they start to hire you. Then you start to kind of believe in yourself as a videographer and your vision, and you become a videographer, not on purpose, but just people that are desperate for having a need for you. And then once I became a videographer, that's when I was starting to get hired to do videos, interviews at other locations, and that kind of sparked the idea of maybe I should have a creative place so I can film at my location. But having a location like this, it kind of, our clientele is 85% photographers. So people automatically assumed that I knew how to take pictures. So I had to kind of do a lot of free pictures to kind of figure it out. And that's how you kind of do like a tour of your space. You take pictures of a lot of people, and you always you say for free, and you tell them make sure you just talk about it, like post about it, get the word out. All I'm asking you is to, you know, hashtag our location and say if you're looking for pictures, go here. And that was the payment pretty much. So once I do like a trial period of like 10 of my friends and figuring out how lighting works and a lot of YouTube tutorials, I learned the art of taking pictures. But you got to kind of use your clientele and your friends to use that bartering of all I'm asking you to do is just talk about it. All I'm asking you to do is just post and recommend my location and me as a photographer. And that's how you kind of build a clientele for any business, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. But is it? I feel like I've heard photography isn't as lucrative as it once was. Maybe like 15 years ago. It, I imagine it. I mean, if you're doing it, I imagine it's worth your time.
So all of this is art, and when you create art, you got to have a why. You have to have why did you choose to expose the lighting in this direction, and it has to kind of have a theme. Like a lot of times people overexpose their pictures and that's their style of pictures, so you have to be attracted to some sort of style and just capitalize off of that. So that's the art of photography. uh, and when it comes to videography, you just want it to visually look good so it doesn't look as be as distracting when you are showing it to somebody. um but at the same time, that video, if it's real staticky or if it's real noisy, that can still be art as long as the audio is great. So you got to kind of find your style of, you know when you're creating art. I'm more of a traditionalist. Like if it looks great and is not distracting, I'm fine with that. Sometimes people, only have one light and allow shadows to hit, and I'm a person that kind of like to kind of keep the picture 3D. So I'll backlight it and front light it just to kind of create like this person like suspended from the background. So it's just, that's my style. So it is an art on both sides. Um, I just don't want my images or videos to be distracting from what we're trying to accomplish.
So in regards to the creative space section, would you say that it's a growing market?
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Being in Los Angeles, people will use your space to the max, and then it becomes overly used. So you have to constantly switch it up, change colors, change sets, because it becomes, no one wants to say, I've been there before. Oh, I've seen that location. I know exactly where you shot at. Everybody wants to be the only location. It's like an outfit. Our location is an outfit. You never want to show up to set with the same outfit on. So it's definitely lucrative. It's definitely profitable. I highly recommend anybody to do it, but it definitely takes a lot of your time, and you have to pay attention to the market and pivot whenever when you start to see your numbers drop. It's like a movie. It's hot the first month, then it starts to decline, and then the movie theater, it was shifted down to only one theater versus six. So you got to kind of pivot to according to the numbers.
Do you rent your space out? Is it just for videography and photography, or do you have like events there as well?
However, creative wants to use it. We have it up on a couple of sites: Peerspace, Gigster, Splacer. We posted about it on our social medias, and it's just, it's a blank canvas for you to use. However, our location is unique because it has like 6 different walls or colors or sets that you can use however you want. Has a kitchenette. And then we have another location that is a New York style loft. It has a piano, brick wall, and hardwood floors. So, we kind of put it out there to say you can use it however. And we've had, sketches, movies, music videos, the most. I mean, it's sky's the limit to how creative the director can be.
Do you allow events there?
Yeah, we've had a the one I remember off the top of my head, we had a Super Bowl party, we had a birthday party, we've had a concert at the New York Loft. I think that's probably the biggest one, and yeah.
How much money does someone need to have in order to start? Is it like a first last security sort of situation?
No, so here's the thing. When it comes to Peerspace, you just have to have a location that you think that people will use. Like if you, Reggie, have a back room that was just all black, or if it had, African pictures hanging up, you can rent that room out. So you just have to, advertise it. You have to promote it. You have to let people know I'm renting this room out, and you can rent it out $45 an hour or something. You just have to make it appealing. You can rent your backyard out. You just have to. Why would somebody shoot there? You have to be your own advocate of like devil's advocate of like, if I was a person flying into Los Angeles, why would I want to rent this location versus another location? You have to kind of weigh the options of your competition. Type in what you bring to the table, then type that in and say, what are they offering? And just try to outdo your competition.
So the space that you have, are you leasing this space? So it's a commercial space, right?
Yes. Yes.
So for the commercial space, does like going in, does someone need to have like a first, last, and security in order to? I didn't know if there was like, if you needed like 6 months of security or.
One of them is, and one of them is a live workspace.
It seems like I was actually looking at spaces the other day, and it seems like a lot of the spaces they don't allow you to sublease. So I didn't know, like, I was like, wow, is it really hard to find a commercial space that allows you to sublease, or am I just looking in the wrong areas?
Well, I think the idea of subleasing is like somebody else is living there, or like taking over, feels like, versus hourly. Because most of our clients will be there a max of 12 hours. Subleasing kind of pushes the line of somebody is renting from you to like live.
Gotcha.
Like you have a contract or something like that. That's what it feels like. But I mean, for the most part, our landlord understands what we do, and we have to, of course, have insurance because it's covering them and it's covering us because somebody could possibly burn the place down. But you have to have insurance. That's another thing you have to add on to. So it's covering everybody.
Okay.
But I highly recommend, if you honestly want to do it, I would say it's great money. You would definitely get your money back. If you do it right, you won't have to pay rent. I will highly recommend for you to create business there or in that area, because it could be times that you will be there to open the door from 8 to 10, and then 11 to 3 and close down, and then be back at 5 to 9, So I will say, if you're a video editor, if you are anything that you can do in that area that she's like, I'm making money here anyway, all I'm doing is opening the door. Like at my location, we have a back office where I video edit in the back. So I will be there regardless. All I'm doing is, changing out and cleaning up after people, or taking the trash out that they left behind or something like that. So that's what I'm doing, kind of in between clientele. But if you have a life, like, yeah, I work at somewhere on Wilshire selling insurance. You would have to pretty much hire somebody else to kind of go back and forth, or stay there to kind of um, be the host of the location. So that's the only thing I can say, if you try to do it yourself.
How long did it take for you to like consistently be bringing in clients after you opened up your space?
Um, I would say the first 4 months was tough because it was different from what we did. It's like any business. You have to pretty much advertise and post and remind people you have it and understand what you can do here. And because it's such a shock to people if you haven't always done it. Because my background is comedy and writing and acting, and then you tell somebody you have a location that you can rent from, they don't wrap their mind around it. They don't associate me with something like that. So you would have to do something like free headshots to get in here, like let me show you what we have, or you have to create an event or an open house to get in their face and say, this is what we're doing. We're offering this, and you have to create events to kind of let people know what's happening. And that's when it started picking up, because you can just imagine yourself being on social media and someone says, hey, I wrote a book about cupcakes, and then you just be like, what? Like, I've never heard you say anything about cupcakes. It's like, this might be a short-lived dream. Maybe you're promoting this for somebody else. So you got to come remind people, like, hey, free cupcakes at this event. I'm giving away books. They say, okay, now you're cooking. And then while you're there, you kind of be like, hey, I have a bakery here that shows you that you can make your own cupcakes in 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So you have to let people know, like, hey, this is what's happening. Oh, when I seen it on Facebook, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of like get people in there, like, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I do. Because people are scamming past your posts. Like, what? Mm-hmm. Whatever. I don't know. This is probably an ad for somebody else. So yeah.
Yes, it's definitely about branding oneself, and it's interesting. Even individuals or small businesses kind of have to brand themselves like corporations, like big corporations. Big corporations, they say people have to see your ad 7 times before they purchase.
Absolutely.
So people have to see you post about your creative space or whatever your new endeavor is, or whatever your endeavor is, multiple times before they say, oh, that's what Dion does.
Right.
That's what Reggie does. Like, you need to really drill it into people. And people are going to forget. They're being bombarded by so much information and so much advertisements. Like, if you just scroll down Instagram, every 3 posts is an ad nowadays.
Absolutely.
Literally. So you've got to like really put yourself out there, communicate. Yeah. I love that you've put together put together this creative space, and it's successful for you. I'm curious, what are, outside of the I know you talked about it can be time, if you don't hire somebody else, you need to be there. It can be time consuming. Are there any other sort of cons or challenges that come along with operating your own creative rental space?
Yeah. So I would say the cons are so it's a pro and a con. The pro is you can put it up on a lot of locations. Like, there's a lot of locations that will advertise your location for free. But the con, if you will, and I'm using quotation fingers, is they will take a percentage. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's business. So say, for instance, you are selling your location for $100. They will take like $25 or $15, 13% from that. No matter how much you increase the rate, they will still take that 13%. And I get it. But then sometimes you want to kind of like, hey, you can book directly through me to rent my space, but by doing that, you won't have no insurance. With those locations, you have insurance. As in, if somebody breaks your lights or something, you can say, hey, Peerspace, they broke my lights. You need to charge them X amount of money so I can replace it. Versus booking directly through me through a Cash App or Venmo, you don't have no, you can't just rely on them from just say, hey, you broke my lights and it costs $200. They say, well, good luck with that. That can happen.
You can't make them get insurance prior to renting the space out?
I mean, you can. It's I can't say it's scary business because we're not like a corporation sort of business, because it's kind of hard. Just might say, hey, you can rent from my location. There is a $250 deposit. By any chance, you don't break anything, we'll give you the money back, which is a lot more work for us, to kind of refund it each time, because we get clientele in and out all the time, 2 locations. So you don't want to be like, I mean, it's like I said, it now requires another person to kind of handle all that stuff, like refund that money back to John, take that money from Cheryl because she went over an hour and a half. So it's kind of tough to do it without this the Peerspaces and the Splacers. So it's great to work with that company, that website company, because you can kind of that 13% helps, but also you won't get your full money. So that is like your secretary of the location, and they sync up with Google. So by any chance they book, it will go right to your phone by saying July 15th you have a client coming in from 9 to 6. So but besides the idea of being in a location, I would say you have to always sell it. You have to, as tired you can be, you have to, because you're in competition of other locations. Somebody respond to you by saying, hey, I want to book your loft space, but is it tuned? Which my location, I found out that like 15 of my keys are badly, they're not at the best shape. So I will have to sell it by saying, from what I've heard from my last tune, expert said that it's going to take a lot to repair my piano. So as of now, we only do video only, which I would say about 10 or 15 clients have used, and it works just as fine. Like, you have to sell it like that, versus saying, nope, it's not tuned. You have to kind of show the bright side of your location. If people ask about something that is not up to what they're looking for. So I mean, you're always selling, because you don't want to, you want to be in the runnings of getting a, $5,000 client versus, I didn't get nothing. Because they will book it for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Were there any unforeseen expenses that you had to deal
Unforeseen.
with?
Definitely we have insurance, which we did not know, but I get it for both parties. And it's not that expensive. It's like $1,000 a year, but just having insurance on your location protects you from, by any chance, a client burns your place down, and it protects the building from saying, if your location end up burning this entire building down, we can sue you. And that's like, no, we can sue that person. So so I get that, which is unexpected. What else I would say? I mean, you definitely have to buy a lot more soap, which is minuscule. Toilet paper because people use it like crazy. Cleaning supplies because you have to clean because of COVID. Like you're just pretty much buying double of that, but not unexpected though.
It must have been. What was the process like in finding the right location? Because you're in LA, and LA is kind of it's not like New York where things can be kind of centralized. Like there is no center in LA. So like,
Mm-hmm.
how did you know? First off, where is your place, and how did you know that would be like a good location?
My location is downtown LA,
Oh, okay.
which I feel like it was a great spot because it is in the center of Los Angeles. We have great parking. There's no parking restrictions. You can park right on the street, um, which a lot of places charge for parking. So that was one of our perks in our selling tools. Um, you want I would say the disadvantage we have against a lot of the clientele is people we don't have natural lighting at one of our locations, um, because a lot of people don't know how to take
Mm-hmm.
pictures, and natural lighting saves their lives. But we had to purchase um, studio lights inside the locations to complement, I mean, to offset the natural lighting. Um, and we also have, Pro Photos D1s for people that know how to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So so we just have to kind of sell it by saying, even though we don't have natural lighting, we have these incredible studio lights that look, that will make it look exactly um, as if we do have natural lighting.
Gotcha.
So you got to kind of just look what people are going towards and to say how can we match that, top that, improve that, to be in the runnings of a chosen location.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to do any other sort of renovations or changes when you first got into the space, or was it good?
Oh no, it was a blank canvas, white walls. Um, we had to we had to paint each location. We had to bring in furniture, purchase furniture. We built a couple walls to separate my office from the showroom. A lot of stitching cords. We had to purchase the lights. We have some Lifix lights that that are voice activated that will turn on from, obviously saying turn on lights, and it turns colors. That's a pilling. That's a seller tool. We added some Google Voice, so you can play whatever music you want. So these are the things that we're selling our project. I mean, our location from, separating from other clients. I mean,
Mhm.
other locations.
Would you say that renting out your space for filmmakers and content creators gives you more clientele compared to renting out your space for commercial productions?
Oh, I didn't limit it to just creatives. Like I said, this website, PureSpace, opens it up to anybody. But more content creators have came to my location specifically, um, for whatever vision they have as far as birthdays or anniversaries, family photos. But like productions or commercial clientele haven't really gravitated towards us. So once you start to know your audience, you have to kind of cater to them versus trying to expand your clientele. But I can definitely say it has grown. I've gained a lot of I've gained relationship with a lot of new people, good friends that have came through sites and wanted to connect with me. So it's been a blessing.
I meant to ask this earlier when you were like renovating your space. I mean, that's kind of a big risk because you're not you're leasing it out. So What was that like? I guess from an emotional or mental standpoint, like you're doing these renovations, but it took you about 4 months to start getting consistent clientele.
Yeah. So it is terrifying because it's a child, and you're putting your child into play football or boxing because you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know if he's going to capitalize off of the opponent or if the opponent is going to take advantage of you. So you just kind of like whatever happens happens, and it's scary because it's like luckily the first 10 months I was behind the wall the entire time, so I can kind of hear if anything would break, or and I was kind of had my ears close to the ground because I can hear if anything went wrong or people are asking or requesting for things. And then after a year passed, I finally started to kind of say, I think it's a well-oiled machine. And then I added the ring camera, just to kind of monitor, if anything went wrong or something was lost or stolen. If anything, somebody say I left at 6 o'clock and they still there at 7:30, I can kind of say, hey, you went past an hour and a half. Here's the proof. So I had to kind of like, you know, um, kind of feel the audience and see where we're going and then make the adjustments on how can I live stress-free and not rely so much on this merit of people, and just kind of say, okay, let me relinquish the babysitting, rely on the camera, trust people's words, look at the cameras, and trust the process.
Mm.
So it went well the first, I would say, 15 months of me being there. And then it became like, okay, let me rely on these cameras because I feel like I'm getting too stressed on what's happening in there. Then I added the cameras and stuff.
Yeah. How long have you had your space? What year did you open?
It'll be 2 years in August next month.
Okay, wow. So your 1 year was throughout the pandemic, and 1 year was before the pandemic. So the pandemic was your best year?
Yeah. Surprisingly, it was our best year too. Yeah, because it was their circle of people. I wasn't in there. So a lot of the people, a lot of the people were like family, friends. It's like we've been quarantined together, so we just can kind of go in here, and then we had to sign all this paperwork from Peerspace by saying we promise to clean up before and after, deep clean and all that stuff, disinfect. So we had to do that before each client. Um, and when people come in, they smell that bleach, like, oh, y'all really clean here. Yeah.
Damn near killed the clients when they come
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to ask, I don't know if we want to include the pandemic in this, but I was going to ask, like, is there a slow season or a busy season? Like, is it busier in the summer? Is it slow in the quote unquote winter?
As of now, it's slow. I don't know because the people outside they have more things to do now. But or if it's they're tired of our space and we had to make adjustments in color. We got to change. We got to do some painting. We got to build some more sets because I would say this is one of our slowest months, the past 3 weeks. But yeah, I feel like it was a surge of clientele during the pandemic, and then like as of the beginning of June, it started to slow down.
Got you. What was there any point during the pandemic where you were just not open at all?
Oh yeah, of course. Like the first month,
Okay.
I think right when March, we opened back up maybe like the end of beginning of May. And it was kind of like people asking, Are you guys still open? Are you still open?" And we kept saying no, no, no. And then we started to kind of hear people say, "We've been quarantined together, so You know, it's not like we're going to spread anything. And then we kind of had to kind of ask Peerspace, like, they can't sue us if they get, like, you know, try doing those numbers. Like, how's this work? Don't be saying we got it from your location. You know, we were looking like that.
Um, so you're at an advantage because you know you offer your space. I know it's to everybody, but it seems like it's a lot of content creators. So
Yeah, a lot.
how can like other filmmakers and creatives who want to open up their space like really maximize having that space,
My space or their own space?
their own space?
Um, Follow your not your what people use you for. So if I will say this, if you are a videographer and people always use you on white walls, create a location that has white walls. If people use you on brick walls because they see that I like that what you're doing, and just create a location that you're being used at a lot. If you are a singer and people love to hear your voice, create a studio that has a studio in it. Microphone, soundboard, you know, learn how to do engineering. You know, just create a location that people are using you, not using you, but using your talent. And just like, okay, people see that I am great at this. So now it's time for me to get paid off of this. And now that instead of somebody saying, hey, I like your voice, Reggie, as a singer, let's go to my friend John's studio, pay him so I can hear you sing, versus like, hey, Reggie, can we use your studio? I want to use your voice. Now you're getting paid twice, you know? So you just got to kind of use your, you know, figure out how people are using you and then capitalize off of that. And then you get your money back tenfold.
Would you advise people to collaborate when it comes to getting their own space, or is it something a person can maneuver on their own?
Great question. Know who you're collaborating with. Know their dreams, their goals, like a marriage. How will I benefit from you? Let's sit down and uh, see what your end game is. What's your 5 year goals, 10 year goals, and let's work towards that. You know, because you know, some people might want to go in exclusively to make money. Some people might want to go in exclusively to build clientele. They don't care about the money. Some people might want to go in to say, I want to use this for my space only. You know, so you got to kind of uh, feel the audience out, feel your business partner out, and say, why do you want this? Why do you want to do this with me? Even though it will be cheaper because you guys are going half on the rent and half on the profit, if you will. Um, you got to kind of, you know, ask them, why are we doing this together? Versus yourself. You bet on yourself, that means you're really betting on yourself. Now you got to be the um, promoter of um, the Instagram, Facebook, and you know, sending out emails and do the junket. You know, you have to be the face of it. Not be afraid of putting your number out there. Hey, if you need a location, this is my number. So, but yeah, you got to do everything if you can be by yourself.
It sounds like a lot.
It is.
Sounds like a
It
lot to
is.
do by yourself for the first time, especially.
Right. Right. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself, um, but if you have the capacity, it's very doable. But if you have other dreams elsewhere, it's gonna be a strain because you feel like you're cheating on your passion and your career because you're gonna have to you know make a decision what's more important in your life.
So what final advice can you give to folks who are looking to open up their own creative space?
Yeah, I would say 100% believe in yourself. If you really want to do it, don't look at other people's spaces, locations. If you feel there is a market for your house, your garage, um, your living room, you can 100%, you can open it up, you can sell it, you can market it. You just have to believe that it is a market for it. Start off small, fill the audience out. Look at your living room and see what you offer. Type that search, search that word or location, couch color, wall color, and see what other people are charging. Look at the square feet compared to yours, and just like, it's a market here. People want this, and you can definitely sell that. So I would not count yourself out, your location. But if you do want to invest a little bit more, I would 100% start off small, and then find your audience. Ask yourself, why do I want to rent here? Why would somebody want to rent here? What separates my location from anywhere else? And just go from there.
Awesome. So, Dion, where can people find you on the internet, and where can people find your space and rent out your space?
Yeah, sure. My location, I have two locations. They have separate Instagram names. The first one that we opened up is LTE Visions. At LTE Visions, it is 1,400 square feet. And then I have a second location, which is right down the street from the first location. It is at Lack Toast, ENT, Lack, LACK, Toast, like the bread, ENT. Yeah, those are my two locations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dion. This is a really great interview. I learned a lot, and I feel like folks that are interested in opening up their space will be inspired and have some information to go along with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening to the Black Film Space podcast. If you're interested in attending our events, becoming a member, or donating to our mission, please visit us at blackfilmspace.com. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Black Film Space. Subscribe to our email list and podcast. All right, peace out, and see you soon.